And now everything's ready basically to get this engine in the car. And I think it's gonna take me around 5 hours. Got all the wiring situated. We went ahead and put all these back together smoothly. We got all the clips. There's not a single clip. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're gonna be back to work on our McLaren 720S. And as you guys seen in the previous videos, we went ahead and got the whole subframe on. We got pretty much all the wires routed inside. We went and put everything inside back there. And in today's video, we are actually gonna be installing the engine into this car. So guys, here's our engine right here from the McLaren. And this thing is around $100,000 from the dealership. So gladly nothing was broken on it. We did have a broken air tube, but we are gonna fix that up. And it's basically ready to go back in. And there's really not much lines that we are gonna have to plug up. And I think we might actually have to take out that access panel in the back so we can get to everything on top. So let's go ahead and get this thing all lined up and get this engine installed in the car. So I went ahead and took off some of the lines that go to the shocks, and now everything's ready basically to get this engine in the car. And I think it's gonna take me around 5 hours. So I'll see you guys when the engine is inside the car. So we got the entire engine back underneath the car, and check this thing out. It's starting to look like a car again. We got all the bolts bolted on under there. I am gonna torque every bolt down later once I get all the torque specs from MClaren. I tried getting in contact with a couple of techs, but they weren't really too helpful. So we're gonna have to just torque all those down and maybe put some Loctite on it. Now what we need to start doing is basically just start figuring out where everything goes, like this wiring right here. And the first clip I see is right here. And then this actually goes on the air box that goes like that. So everything's coming together pretty nicely. So now all we need to do is just start putting up all the small wear plugs and put the intercoolers and basically just put on the radiators and continue assembling the whole rear end. So we pretty much got all the wiring situated. We went ahead and put all these things back here, and now we're gonna go ahead and move on to the suspensions. We need to go ahead and get the shocks back on there, so we can go ahead and plug this up. This goes to the shock, this goes to the shock, and then this actually I'm pretty sure goes to the taillights just like that. And the air box is what holds all these wires right here, and also all these clips right here. The air box is gonna hold all that on. But let's go ahead and put the shocks on and then start working on getting the suspension on this thing. So we have pretty much everything situated on the car right now. We went ahead and put on both shocks, routed all the lines, everything went in smoothly. And man, let me tell you guys, the photos I took on my phone came in so handy. We found out everything where everything goes, except for this wire right here. I'm not too sure, but I think it might go somewhere down here to the bumper. But if anything, we'll just chop it off. We don't really need it. But now that we have mostly everything situated on the car, we're gonna go ahead and start putting on these rear suspensions. And the only reason I put this shock back on was just so I can route these lines perfectly and see exactly how they go. We still don't have a new shock yet. We need to find one. They're pretty rare to find. And then as you can see, We got this wiring right here. This goes to the fuel tank, and there's a ground also for here. So everything kind of just has a place to go. All the clips should match up with all the holes. But now that we have mostly everything situated, let's go ahead and put on both of these rear suspensions.
Yeah.
So we got both suspensions back on the car, and this side, the suspension arm was cracked or it was bent pretty bad. So I just went ahead and straightened it out just to get this thing back on here, just so the wheel would be sitting all straight. And we will have to replace like the axle later and the shock. But the cool thing is I can just unbolt it and just slip it in there later. I really don't want these rotors sitting around anywhere because these are pretty expensive. But now that we pretty much have everything situated over here, I want to go ahead and put on the catalytic converters, and then we can put on our intercoolers and go ahead and start buttoning up all this stuff back here. And then we can go ahead and put our air boxes on, and pretty much the entire rear of this car will be back together. So let's go ahead and get the catalytic converters. I know they're catalytic converters, but I just love messing with you guys. So let's go ahead and get them things back on this car, and then we can go ahead and start putting most of the other stuff together. Guys, we are planning on upgrading these later, but I want to get everything back together so then we can start this car up and drive it, maybe do some hooning in it. But let's go ahead and get these on. So we got both air boxes on, everything went back together smoothly. We got all the clips, there's not a single clip that's not in its area. And we didn't go ahead and put this one on right here. This is the air tube that goes to the turbo, because we do have a crack here, and this isn't plastic, it's like a fiberglass. So maybe we can potentially fix it. Maybe we'll have to order a new one because it is broken right here and down there. And this is a pretty important component. So if something like cracks off, and it'll go straight into the turbo, and we do not want that. That's basically it on the driver's side. And on the passenger side, everything went back together smoothly. Every clip, every bolt is in its exact spot. You won't find a single thing unplugged or anything like that. And we basically don't have any plugs that we don't know where to go, like these right here that goes to the tail lights. So everything is just buttoned up, man. This thing was a lot easier to put back together than it was to take apart. And all of this right here took around like 12 hours to put the engine in and button everything up, but it's looking really good. We've got everything buttoned up over here. We don't have the radiators on yet. I want to go ahead and go through all of this stuff, double check all these bolts, torque everything down, make sure everything is torqued to spec so nothing unscrews later down the road. So guys, that's gonna be a wrap for today's video. We did a lot of work on this McLaren. We pretty much got the entire rear end reassembled, all the plugs, all the clips, everything went back into its original spot. And I just hope a McLaren tech can come down here and just take a look at everything, make sure everything's right, but I think everything is good. We will be taking it to the dealership probably with no body panels, just so we can do the oil flush and maybe get the coolant from them too, because we also are gonna have to replace these shocks. And as you guys know, these are hydraulic shocks, so there's fluid running all the way to the front to the little, I'm guessing it's like a little pump or something like that. So we'll probably have to take it there to get all that serviced. About 90% done in the back, everything is back together. And I'm super excited because after we get this rear end all put together, we can go ahead and start working on the front. We need to go ahead and order some parts. We did order like the frame rail and the door, but we will have to start ordering all the smaller brackets once we get to installing everything that we have, and we'll know exactly what we need. And that's gonna be super exciting, guys. This car might be on the road within the next month or two. So if you enjoyed today's video, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, drop a like, and also turn on your post notifications so you don't miss a single episode. And follow me on Instagram at VTune. And if you want to cop some merch, head over to vtune.com. We got some pretty cool sales going on right now, and we will have some new merch coming soon. Thanks for watching.